to Valentina's culinary voyage. This is where we look at the recipes which impressed me most and which stayed with me really from my voyage on the Italian Sojourn that I was on recently. So now we're moving on to Sicily, and we went to the port of Messina, which is quite amazing and of course famous for the swordfish. You can't miss the old swordfish boats going up and down the straits. Amazing tradition just happening right there, all about the swordfish. So I'm going to grill some swordfish steaks, and I'm going to serve them with Sicily's most famous sauce that goes with all sorts of things that are grilled. You can use it on the swordfish as is traditional, but also you can put it onto chicken, or you can put it onto some pork perhaps, anything you like. This is sort of like a barbecue adjunct really, and it goes with any kind of grilled meat or fish or even grilled cheese. So I've got the grill pan really hot here, and I'm going to let that now take over the job of getting this beautiful swordfish ready. So the first thing I want to do is actually get it just brushed with a little bit of olive oil. Stop it sticking and give it some moisture, because it can tend to be a little bit dry. So I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of this liquid gold over the steaks like this, and then with a brush I'm just going to make sure that it's well coated all the way over. Now I'm going to turn them over. I'm not going to add the salt now, because if I add salt at this point, all it'll do is draw out the moisture. It'll season the fish, but it will draw out the moisture. So the salt has to be added with the sauce and goes on at the very end once everything is cooked. Salt is always your most dangerous and most powerful ingredient that you have in your kitchen. It does all sorts of things apart from season. It draws out moisture, it dries. So yeah, be careful. Okay, let's see whether this is really hot enough now to take these babies. That's a pleasing sizzle. So now to make my sauce. So I'm eventually going to serve it in this beautiful mortar from my pestle and mortar collection, but I'm going to make the sauce here in this bowl. So I need lemon zest, dried oregano, which this I always tell everybody, when you go to Italy, if you don't bring back anything else, bring yourself back a bunch of dried oregano. It costs about €1. Even the most budget of airlines will let you put it in your suitcase, because the weight is nothing. And they make great presents for everybody. And then when you come home, you just literally massage the bunch and let the leaves fall into the bowl, whatever you're cooking. Oregano should always be dried, because that's really when the flavour comes into its own. Using fresh oregano makes things look very pretty, but they're not going to have the flavour of oregano. And of course, if you haven't got a bunch of oregano like this, you can just buy dried oregano. Use it when it's nice and new, not a jar that's been on your shelf for a couple of years if possible. You can tell if it's really good and fragrant, then it's fresh enough to use. Next ingredient is the lemon. By the way, lemon and all citrus fruit and anything that has a very high content of vitamin C should always be cut with a serrated blade. Quickest way to blunt your knife is to cut a lemon with a straight bladed knife. Use a serrated blade for tomatoes, for citrus fruits, anything that has a high level of vitamin C, because citric acid will just take the edge off your blade. Right, so lemon juice pouring in here. I'm keeping an eye on my swordfish, don't you worry. But the more often you move things around when they're on a griddle pan, the more steam they create, and then basically the tougher they get, because you're boiling them as opposed to actually griddling them. As soon as you see the colour coming up the sides, that's the time that you want to turn them over. So we're just about there now. So hopefully, whoopah, there you go. But basically you only really want to turn them once, so as to create minimum amount of steam and keep them as tender as you possibly can. Okay, so the oregano and the lemon juice are in there, and now I'm going to add a little bit of parsley, which I'm just going to chop that nice and fine. You're not making a salad. Coming back to my sausage, this one's now done. Onto the plate to rest. And I just want to get a bit more colour on that one. So that one can have another couple of minutes on the other side. Okay, you always want to chop your parsley so it doesn't get stuck in people's teeth. So it's got to be small enough. Huh? Spend an extra minute chopping it again when you think you've chopped it finely enough. Right, that's going in there with the rest of my ingredients. And now the magic of the olive oil. So this is an emulsified sauce, so you want to keep going until basically the acidity of the lemon has caused the oil to emulsify. And to help that along, traditionally we use a splash of boiling water. That's just about 2 tablespoonfuls, I guess. That is looking fantastic. And now what I want to do is season this. So this is Mediterranean sea salt. You can see how it's thickened up. Good bit of black pepper. Just maybe a little tiny bit more lemon juice in there, and that can go straight into my mortar there. And then I'm going to add, again, serrated knife for the lemon. I'm going to just slice into this lemon for some wedges of lemon to finish this off. Have that one sitting there because it really is all about this beautiful lemon. Now I'm going to just drizzle. Oh, look at that. Oh my God, it's so good. Just a little bit of that over. Well, I think that is a tribute worthy of the beautiful city of Messina and its gorgeous, amazing swordfish and oregano and lemons and all those things that are part of the island. So buon appetito, everybody.